Right, I've got a cool little project for you guys at home. Over at Fastlane, our go-karting venue, we've built a podium. Now on the podium, we want it to automatically take pictures and then upload them to the internet. This is something that I've never done before, but I'm confident we can do it. A couple of months ago, you guys would have seen I built an arcade game station for Siberia, and we've still got a lot of stuff left over. So I've got all of these wires, and more importantly, I've got all of this kit. Now within here, I found some buttons. We're gonna make use of these. We've also got somewhere in here, a little ESP computer board. Believe it or not, this is like a little computer. We've went and bought just a cheap desktop computer, which is upstairs in my office. And then what we've got is this. This is a Lumix camera. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna mount this in front of the podium. We're gonna connect all of these buttons to this computer. And what's gonna happen is when you push a button, the green one, for example, the TV will show a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It'll take an image of you and your friends on the podium. You'll have a choice. Do you want to press the green button and upload the photo straight away to the internet because you're happy? Do you want to reject the image, or do you want to take another image? So these buttons are going to get wired up to this little computer board. This little computer board will then talk to the PC, as will the camera. The whole thing will be connected together, and we're essentially going to build a photo booth. So you're going to watch me in this video, how I'm going to turn all of this into a photo booth. Now bearing in mind, I'm learning as we go along, as much as you guys are at home. So we probably will have a few mess ups along the way, but I've got a good idea how to do it. So follow me and let's get on with it. Right, so on this little board, there's lots of pins. We don't need them all. We're only looking for 3, which are D1, D2, and D3. These are gonna be our signal pins. And then all we need over and above that is a ground. So when you push a button, it makes a connection, and it will make a connection between the ground and whatever pin that we select. So all I'm gonna do is I found this in the bag. This is for something else, but it fits perfectly over those 3 pins, like so. So now we've got D1, D2, and D3. All we do now is each one of these wires will individually go to a different button. So this one's got an extra cable on it that I don't need. I'm just gonna snip that off underneath the sheath so it's protected. And now we've got the 3. These are all wired up previously, so we're gonna pull off all these connectors that we don't need anymore. And on this button, you can see this is a micro switch. So on it, there's 5 ports. We've got a common, we've got a normally open and a normally closed. So think of the normally closed as the switch is always connected. And when we push that, it disconnects it. These two, they're just opposites. So we're gonna use the normally open and the common, and then it only leaves these 2 here, which if I put this power up on my desktop power, it'll just permanently light. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put something in to make it flash. So instead of it being connected all the time like that, it'll essentially just flash. Very easy, and I'll show you how we're gonna do it at home. I'm gonna do the red to the red. So we're gonna go on here like so. So that's on my button now. And then I'm probably gonna put blue to blue, just so it's easier. We've got these 3 here, yeah? So we're gonna have to make 3 cables that then go into 1. So now you can see we've got the 3. So each cable here is connected up to a different pin on here. That's how it's gonna know what we're doing. That's it now, that's solid. So this one's gonna be my ground. But the ground are all gonna share a connection, because it's looking for the ground when you push the button. So we've got 3 of them. So we've got 1 that's already on, 1 for the next button, and 1 for the button after that. And that's it. So now that the buttons are done, the only thing we need to do now is install Python onto the PC. Then we need to flash this with a little bit of code to tell it what we want to do. And then we need to connect it all together and play around with it until we get exactly where we want. It sounds very easy, but there is a little bit of code in. But if this was 10 years ago, you would have sat, or we used to sit with a Python for Dummies, the book. But you guys at home can use ChatGPT and tell it what you want, tell it the type of code that you want, and it will generate the code for you. So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna get AI to generate the code, and then we're gonna flash everything onto this here, and then we're gonna start connecting up all the pieces and get it working. I'm just nipping to Fastlane because the lens that I bought for the photo booth was what? You're the photographer. The camera was taking an image and it was cropping the sides, so you weren't seeing the 2nd and 3rd place position. So we had to go and buy another lens that was a wide angle. So I'm going to take a picture with it where the camera is going to be mounted roughly. And then when we upload it onto the computer, it will show us how much extra is at either side, so that when we design the picture frame that overlays on it, it'll clearly let us see 2nd and 3rd positions, but it hides everything else in the shot. easy job now that we've bought lens number 2. I asked AI what lens I needed because I'm not a photographer, and then Stuart the smart arse came in and said, nah, it's not right, you need another one. So, lens number 2. Right, so this camera is going to be mounted up here, and all of our gubbins and all of our computer stuff is going to be within this. So what we want to make sure is that when it takes a picture of the podium, we can see the full podium, which we can. So we've already tested it. I would show you, but I don't know how to use a camera. Stuart does. So if we click here, you can see me smiling, but we're going to crop out the right-hand side and the left-hand side, and we'll put a little bit here saying first, second, and third places. So we're going to go back to the workshop now, and then we'll see how it looks. Let's go. We initially wanted, when somebody took a photo in the photo booth, that it would upload to a separate page on Instagram that we've set up, Fastlane Podium. But the problem with us setting up that is not that it's difficult to do. We can do it very easy with an API, and essentially the computer will speak to the Instagram and it will post on our behalf. What we can't monitor is kids or people putting videos up like this, or very silly things that we're worried will then affect the actual business. So what I've decided we're going to do is we have got a printer here, and what I've decided we're going to do is that when the camera system's in place, it's only going to have 2 buttons: accept the photo or retake the photo. When you push to accept the photo, the printer will print you guys one of these. So as you can see, it's got the logo on it, it's got everything in it, and it will then generate a unique QR code for you, which you then take this to reception, give it to the staff, they'll scan the QR code, it'll instantly show them what picture's yours, and the printing machine for the pictures is behind the till. So we've done that so that it just makes it easy. Also, initially I had connected it to what's called Stripe, which is a payment platform. When you're happy with your photo on a screen, you could scan a QR code and pay it. But we were very much of the opinion that the older generation, or people that are not very confident with payment systems or are scared, they wouldn't want to scan a QR code on a screen and pay through Apple Pay on their phone. So by us putting the system behind the till, we know that it'll make it easier for everyone. The staff can take a payment behind a till on an actual card machine, and we won't risk losing sales. So now the system's very simple. All we have is a PC. We've got some of these little circuit boards and stuff that I'll show you in a bit that we're going to program, and 2 buttons and a camera. The camera will take your image. I'll then overlay a border. Now the border will have like the Fastlane logo, first, second, and third place, and a little bit of jargon. The system will just overlay it, so when it prints out, your photo's ready to go. So I'm just gonna have a little play around with this, then I'm gonna have a little play around with the code. Once the full system's working on there, all we need to do is box it up and package it and make it look nice, chuck it to Fastlane. So what I'm doing here is I'm just setting up all my subfolders. So on that little ESP board, it needs lots of information. So it'll need the file that's the overlay for the photograph. It'll need an actual folder for the photographs. So when it takes the photos and it overlays them, this is the folder that the Fastlane staff will access from the till to print their picture. We need one for the receipts, we need one for all of the computing power. So all I'm doing right now is programming that in there. I'm just writing some code here. I want it to print a receipt. So when you've taken your picture and you're happy with your picture and you want to go to reception and collect your print, push the green button and a little bit of paper comes out of here, and it's got a QR code, which the staff at the reception desk will scan, and it lets them know which image is yours, and then you can pay for it. So I'm just finishing up the code here. I'm just going to do a quick test. And now you've got it. So you've got the company logo. Congratulations, here is your QR code for your photo. Please bring this to reception. That's the code. So the staff will scan that code at the reception desk, and it'll pull up your image and they can print it and give it to you in a little gift box. Easy. Right, today's job. Now that we've got this system working, it's just a collection of things at the moment. So we've got a till printer, a camera, we've got all the buttons or the wires, and the actual PC itself. So now we're going to build a housing for it. We're going to design it, cut it on a CNC and MDF, screw it all together, and then we're going to print a wrap for it. We'll print the wrap, we'll put the acrylic windows on, and then we'll assemble it, and then that's us. This is how we're going to build it. So at Fastlane Podium, there's a wall like this within the podium. So that's the wall, and this is the podium here, and that's a wall there. So the people are going to stand here like my little stick man, and we want to take a photo from here. So this box is going to go here, and inside that box is going to house everything that we need. So the PC will be here like this, The buttons will be on the front, the printer will spit out the paper here, everything will be on it, and we'll probably put some lights up here to project onto it as well. So what we're going to do now is measure all of these individual components, the printer, the buttons, the till printer, everything we're going to measure, and then we'll break it down in individual parts, and then we'll cut it out on a CNC with Johnny. Face on, if you're facing the stand, it's going to be like this. And then all we're going to have is a little hole at the top. That's where the camera is going to be. So you're not going to see any of this. You're just going to see a little hole. And then we're going to have the TV screen directly under that, which is this. And then under it, we're going to have two buttons, one here, and then we're going to have a hole here in the middle so the till printer can spit out your receipt. And then this will just be some artwork, like Fastlane. And the full thing will be wrapped, and that's it. And then the box will just be sitting like that. Let's measure everything, let's get our dimensions, and then we'll input it into the system, and then we'll cut it in MDF. It's going to be 5, 6, 7, 370. And then the depth, so the total depth that will make the full thing, 210. But I'm wondering if we can cut that. See that bracket? Because I want that screen to be flush. I don't want it to be stepped. So then the realistic depth is going to be, let's say 170 or 180. We'll make it 180 deep. That gives us space for everything. We know that the height is 2030, so we're going to make it 2000 top to bottom, like that. And then the width only needs to be marginally bigger than the screen. We know the screen is 567, so we will make it 620, which will give us space for wiring and so on and so forth. And then other than that, all I need is TV, buttons, printer, all of that jazz. So that's easy. So all I need to do now is measure the width of the printer, which is going to be 130, and then the height that the print comes out. Now this is critical because I need to make like almost like a letterbox that the paper can come out, so it needs to be in the right place. So the height of that's going to be 110. Full height is going to be 130. So it's 130 by 130. One thing that we do need to consider is if we ever need to open it to replenish anything. So for example, this will need opened because it's got a roll of paper inside, which we will need to change. I'm gonna have to make a door on one side of it with a hatch that we can open it, take a printer out, change the paper, put it back in. As you just seen, it opens from the front. I can't fix this printer down. So once it's in place, I'll probably put industrial Velcro, and I'll also probably build a housing so it's got a bit of timber either side. And then that way, when they take the printer out to replenish it, it can only go back in the same location, and that's critical. So I'm just writing down my size of my buttons, which are 24 millimeters diameter. And then I need to see the furthest apart I can have them. So earlier on I said I would have these either side of the printer, but that's not possible because of this wire. I can obviously make the wire bigger, but I'll just put the two buttons side by side like this. This little computer will screw inside. This one's not needed for now. And other than that, that's all we need. So now I'm going to jump onto the computer and I'll screen record how I'm designing it so you guys at home can quickly watch it. And then we're off to machining. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build the external dimensions of this photo booth. So we're going to say we want it to be 620 wide and we want it to be 20, we'll make it 2020. Let's make it 2020 high. And then we now work out the sizes. So we know the TV is 567 by 370. Right, so that's maybe leaving it just a little bit tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the width of the unit to 650, give us just a little bit more room. So that's the size of our TV. Now, one thing that we need to consider, which I didn't think about a minute ago, we know the size of the TV, but we don't want to see the full screen because obviously you can only see what's lit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and measure this TV. And if you can see here, you've got this black band. Well, none of that black band needs to be seen. So what we're going to do is measure that. So that's like 32 mil there. So if that's our TV, we only want to see this. We don't want to see that. So that distance is 32. This should be 32 as well, which it is. So you've got 32 either side. And then the bottom is going to be 50 mil up from the bottom. So we'll bring the whole thing in so you only see that. Now I've designed it. So the box itself, it doesn't have a lot in it. But like I said, we now need to work out the camera. But the problem is we're probably going to need some sort of mount for it. So I'm going to have to go and rake a workshop. Is that just a standard bolt? I think what we will do, have I got 18 mil there? See how I've got a bolt coming through? On that shelf, I'm going to machine it from the underside to accept that. And that's coming in at, believe it or no, 17 mil. So I think that'll work. So we're going to say 4 mil up from the bottom, and then if we make the size of the hole 60 mil, I think we're good. So for any of you guys at home don't know how a CNC works, a CNC is a router, so it's a cutter that spins, and then CNC stands for computer numeric control. So the software will just tell the machine where to move, and then the cutter head just cuts. So whatever the machine drags it to, it cuts it out. So we're going to now program it. Now there are some things to consider, things like the size of the cutter, so you can get really, really small ones, you can get really, really big ones. For this job, we're just going to use a 6 mil. So on the side, I've input the size of the sheet, which is 1.2 by 2.4 meters, and that's what you can see on my page. Then we're going to import the files that we're going to use, and in this instance, it's called booth files. And there we go. So the first one I'll cut the face first, looks like that. We are going to cut the face in reverse because I told you I'm going to machine the back to accept the window acrylic. So if I do it the way I'm looking at the screen now, when we do it and turn the sheet over, the buttons will be on the right and the printer will be on the left. So I need to flip the artwork. Perfect. And as you can see, it's put the buttons to the left. So give me a 12 mil window, cut it out, give me that pocket. So there you go. It showed us where it's going to cut. We're going to start all with internal cuts. So this one is going to cut there, this one, and the 2 buttons. So we're going to say we want it to cut and we want it to follow the line. We want to go 18.2 millimeters deep, so it just goes slightly past it. We want to cut on the inside, and then we click calculate. It's going to be okay. One of the things you need to consider when you're CNC milling as well, or machining, is you always cut the internal parts first. So if I have to cut the hole for the camera and then the external shape, you don't want to cut the outside first because the part will move in the machine and then you're trying to cut a hole. So you always cut the inside parts first, then the external parts last. So let's do our pec drill. 0, we're going to go there, that's fine. And now that we've done all our internal cuts, we're going to say external cuts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to say cut. We're going to add tabs. Now tabs are just little pieces of wood that are left over that will stop everything moving in the machine. If I click a button here called Simulate Toolpaths, it's going to show us how it's going to cut it. So you can see it's doing all the holes, it's doing everything. Now we can double check, how does it all look? Here's your tabs, you can see your tabs, you can see your holes for your buttons, your hole for your printer. You can see that that's been machined in, like so. That's your hole for your camera. So we're good to go. So what we're going to do now, we're going to tell it all things to home. We've got a 6 mil cutter in it, so we're good to go. It's going to get noisy now. I need to turn on the dust extraction and the vacuum. Now, as you can see, we've cut the face, so you can see how it's going to look. So there'll be sides on it, but the camera is going to be here, popping out, so the lens will be flush with the front. On the back, we've machined this pocket, and that's where the TV is going to sit. And this will be hiding the black band all the way around the screen. So now, you will only see the screen. These will be the 2 buttons, so green and red, and this is where the receipts are going to pop out. So when the receipt's printed, it's going to pop out of here. So now we just need to assemble the full thing. Good gear away here. Right, so whilst Stu was editing this morning, I designed a wrap for the photo booth. So we've constructed it on Friday, it's now Monday. We are going to now wrap it, then we'll assemble all the electronics and then we'll try it, and that's the booth done. So as you'll see, in all the previous episodes of this video, the hard work is the programming. The assembly and making it look nice was actually the easy part. So I'm just gonna print it onto some wrapping vinyl now, and then you can watch us wrapping it at home. Hello, we just got rid of one dog. Right, we're good to go, I think. All we need to do now is cut it out, and then we'll maybe wrap it up here. So we'll cut it out first, then we'll lay it on the table. It's because your name moving fast now. So there's a shelf here that's going to contain the printer and then the buttons, obviously. And then I'm going to put all the electronics on this side, because this will be an access hatch if any servicing's needing done, and for example when they need to change the till printer paper. So everything will get done from here. So I want to put all the computer elements on this side so it's the furthest away from hands as possible. And then this shelf will sit here for the TV. So that's going to sit in there. So everything will be segregated. Right, put it in, Johnny. There we go. So now we're getting a proper screen. Perfect. Plastic. Easy. This will give us a height now. Get the TV into the hole. Now I have made it bigger, so we're going to need to reposition the TV. Hopefully the printer still fits. Dad, bring up that little printer, please. The fact I think I might do is put the computer stuff up here, Ned in there, so that everything's in one bit if I need to access it. So you should be able to just rest it and slide it in now. So now we know it all fits, we just need to put the buttons in. So let's wrap it, and then we'll assemble all the electrics and switch it on. Right, ready? Johnny pinned it and missed the fucking thing.
I missed what I did?
You fucking daft time one. Right, let's go. So that's where we're going to line it up, and then you will need to do the same at the bottom, but you're going to struggle on this with trim mat. See, I've made it a little bit bigger because I wanted to overhang it at the top and the bottom so we can fold it over. How's that looking for squareness? You just need to hold the sides up like that. Right, roll that back and give me that now. Where's my squeegee? Yeah. I might do it with a glove actually. Give me the squeegee on there. Right, I've got it here. Stuart, you ready for an inspection? If it was that magician's name, is it Tony? If it was his name, Thingy Daniels. If it was Paul Daniels, that's me. Either that or Michael Jackson, you decide. Right, line it up again. Dad, hold that here. See there, then I let it come off of there. It's like that there. I need to try and bring it across now. And you anchor us. And the sides, we'll just stretch them until it goes down. Shitty bits here and there, but that's alright.
We're on your side.
It's on your side, mate. Right, now we heat gun. You'll see how the bubbles are appearing now. That's because we need to get all the air out from underneath it. Go on then, Johnny, lay your end in. So we need to unpick that, see that, and try and get that crease out, because that's fucking right in your face. Proper press that in. If not, we'll hit a trim a cunt. That should be alright. That was deliberate, was it? I'm just folding this into the corners now, just to get the wrap all tucked away. And then the TV will go in from the back. I just need to hold the wrap until it's set. Oh, we're looking good there. And then put the receipt printer in. Let's take it downstairs and start putting all the parts in. So I'll go and get the computers, but we'll need to silicone it all down. So we'll get the buttons done, the printers, all that are connected properly. Easy. And another in gun. And then this in here. There's still a power cable some way for the print. That's it coming on now. That's it saying it's connected. It took a picture because I heard it clicking. Oh, we're still a cable short. Go and run up to my office and get a USB-C cable. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Photo. Waiting for photo. Here's us. And I just wanted to change some of the user interface. So the actual bit that you see, I wanted to make it more professional. We needed it working. We tested it. Everything's working as it's needing to be. And now I've updated the user interface. So I'm going to show you the booth working now. So we push a green button to start. So this is going to sit across from the podium at Fastlane, and there's going to be some lights up here shining on the people. But this is how it'll sit idle. There'll be a panel on here so I can get in and out to do any repairs or to top up the printer paper. So we push a green button. It's going to tell us, press the green button when you're ready to take the photo. All the people racing will be able to stand on the podium quickly. They're going to get 5 seconds. So they push a button. We're going to have a countdown from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to tell us smile. And it's going to take the picture. And it's going to show us a preview. So here's a preview. So what it's showing us here is how it's going to print the image. So if the customers are happy, they can push the green button and it'll spit the receipt. But I'm going to show you what happens if you push the red button. So if we push the red button, it's going to say retake selected, and we've got 2 attempts remaining. Now the reason I introduced that is I didn't want one group of people or one family or whatever just constantly taking pictures all the time, because it's just going to flood the box with pictures. So now we just come back to the same again, press the green button if you're ready. Same again, we're going to get our countdown. Anyway, we're going to push a green button. It's going to print us this receipt. Photo saved. So this now has put the image in a folder. It's sent it over to the reception desk where the photo printer is. You bring this to the staff. So when you get to the staff, scan the QR code. It'll come up on their till, your photograph number. So that's here, your photo ID. They can pull up your image, print it, chuck it in a sleeve, job done, and it's ready for the next customer. So all we're going to do now is take it to Fastlane, put it in situ, then we're going to get Stu to set up the camera, because he's a photographer, so we're going to get all the settings and the light settings and the exposure and stuff. And then that's it, it's ready to start taking paying customers. Easy. Right, wait a minute, go back. Freddy, stand up, right, aye? Yes. There's a ring at either side of here, so we'll get a little ratchet. Right, give us a ratchet strap, boys. There's a little in there, Johnny, hold that. You manage that, bud? You manage? Little Johnny Murphy. Another day in paradise. Right, Stu, grab the lights. Have you got the plugs for them? Are they charged? Johnny, just grab an end. I think we should carry it that way though. Which way? That way, so the screen's facing down. Where's the lid for it? Have we left the lid or where's the lid? Dad, once you do that, nip round the workshop and get the heat gun, please. Get a plug put on it, and we'll need that little wee adapter thing, and if we've not got him, we'll need to go and get him. So that's going to be right in the middle of there, right against the wall. So, where's the lid for it? Is it still in the van? Eh? No, that's a side panel. Where's the lid? Is that still in the workshop? When it very first connects to the PC, it does that little wee receipt there. So we need to run this first, your Lumix tether. That's the software. It won't take a picture unless you do that. So it'll come up here, it's showing you the camera, click start, and that's it ready to go. That'll come up here like that, right? And then you've got that there, and then that should be us up and running. There you go, see? And that's it. So now, you're ready to take photos. You just click start, push green when you're ready. We need to move the camera so we're getting it in line, and we need to put lights in. So we need to now move that camera so that that line there is in line with the top. We'll play a bit with the settings, I'll get you to do that. Then that's us. Once the camera's set, that's giving you a preview of the photo. That's what they take to you. 2026, it's the 19th of March, and it's the first photo of the day. So, that's it installed. So the photo booth's in. As you can see, we've put a light just to give us a nice bit of brightness here for the photos. Everything's working as it's meant to be. We spent a bit of time trying to get the computers to speak. That's all done now. The photo printer's in. So let's jump up, take a little test photo, and then we're ready. You ready, boys? So now we're going to simulate a customer coming in, taking a picture, and then coming to Simon to be paid. Right, so our customer is going to come in. They're going to see the photo booth, and they want to take a picture. So they're going to tell their friends, Johnny, your bronze place as usual. Ready? We're going to get a photo. Photo's displayed. Customer's happy with the picture. They're going to get their receipt. We're going to go to reception now. Hello, Simon. Can I buy this picture?
Hello, Alan. Yes, you can.
Right, so customer comes. And there we go. Picture's printed. Ready to go. Easy. There you go, mate. Put that in your bedroom.